Hi, I'm Rebecca, I'm the Psych Coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can use tips from psychology to help people open up. Therapists, psychologists use various listening strategies to help people open up and to help people feel more safe and secure in the relationship they're in, thus allowing them to talk more freely. But the principles used by psychologists and therapists can be used by everyone to allow for more deeper, meaningful connections with those around you. So what are the top tips I would give for developing your listening strategies and allowing people to open up using psychology? Tip number one is to empathise. Empathy is where you see life through the other person's lens, where you keep a foot in your world, but you put a foot in someone else's world and you see things from their perspective. Listening with empathy is a really powerful tool because it stops you from passing on any judgment. It also means you can convey your empathy by saying things like, that sounds really difficult, that sounds really tough, I can see how tricky this situation is for you. So not only empathise, but convey the empathy. Tip number two is to ask open questions. By asking closed questions like, how are you? You're essentially allowing someone to give a closed answer. But by saying things like, can you describe to me a bit about what's been going on for you? Can you tell me a bit of your experience from last week? I'd be really keen to know more about X, Y, or Z. By asking and making open statements, you're allowing a more free-flowing dialogue than simply saying, how are you? Do you think this is okay? Do you feel okay? It just closed the question off. So ask open questions. Tip number three is to summarise what you've heard. If you're having an intense conversation with someone, it can be really useful to say, okay, so just to clarify my understanding, am I right in saying that this is what's happened? Or just saying at the end of a sentence, great, so if I've heard correctly, this is what's been going on. By summarising, you're not only reflecting back what you've heard and therefore saying to someone, I've been listening, but you're also allowing them an opportunity to expand on what you've said. Chances are, if you use summarising, someone will respond back with more clarification and more detail about what you have just said, thus allowing for a more free-flowing conversation. So if you use empathy, if you use open questions, and if you use summarising when you're conversing with people, you are far more likely to get a free-flowing dialogue that allows for a deeper connection. Try this, see what happens in your relationships, and if you've liked today's tips, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will give you plenty more tips on how you can use psychology on a day-to-day basis.